everyone. I was just waiting for that beat drop in the music bot. As soon as it happened, it's obvious it's time to go. So good morning, everyone. At least it's the morning for us. Let's get this thing going.
Sounds good, Jay.
Yeah. So
been a long and busy week, so happy to talk about all we've accomplished.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff happened, and I think it's reasonable to start with the Basecamp updates. Amber, if you could start us off.
Yes, of course. Happy to give everyone an update. Things has been going great. The application has been open for the last 30 days and already received over 200. I think it's 204 applications. And 2 weeks ago, it was still like a 250 something. So it has had a great reception and still have very strong momentum and continue to receive high interest from many founders. I think by the end of next week, the number will probably definitely pass 220. And among those applications, we just started reviewing some of them, and we're already seeing several really promising DeFi projects can be a good fit for the Basecamp. So in the next few weeks, we'll continue to source high quality projects and keep talking to those founders. And yeah, that's about the application number. And I also want to give an update on the progress of the evaluations committee. So we also received many applications for that. Really glad to see that so many people are interested in working with us. And next Monday, we'll nominate 3 candidates and put together a proposal for a committee to review. I'll pick 3 to be on a committee as suggestion, and the committee can vote on whether they want to proceed with it or not. Basically, the proposal. Sorry.
Why don't we talk about some of the proposals that came in, like some of the projects that people are building?
Oh yes. So I can't say the name of the project, but I think this one's really promising. It's working on a multi-chain, on-chain data query and indexing, focusing on DeFi data. I think that can be promising because it sets good stage for like further data utilization, like AI and machine learning, and they can be like more like DeFi protocols built on top of that data layer. And definitely, I think applications like that can be, complementary to the whole DeFi ecosystem, and then we welcome to see more of that.
Yeah, I think
also,
I think like the I think the 3 dApps that we're incubating right now, or that we have incubated, are like all like user-facing applications. But I think there's like a big or I think in general, like infrastructure projects are like very undervalued. So like some of the applications that are coming in, like even though they're not like user facing, like they have like really good like value accrual mechanisms where it goes a bit beyond just like fees that like other users are putting in, but rather like they're more focused on like other DAOs utilizing them, right? So the fees are coming in from like it's not mercenary capital, let's say, right? Like they're more focused on building out like tooling that other DAOs can use and plug in. And I think like the tokens in general, like I look at like I don't know, Oracle tokens, the graph, like stuff like that like are necessary to like keep on building. And like a lot of the applications that came in, like at least like for me, like when I was looking at them, like I think like I was more in favor of like focusing a bit more on like infrastructure for the next few projects, because it's just like yeah, it's just like a very undervalued space. And I think like if we build out like infrastructure projects, then that means like the projects that we incubate can like use those and create like a really good like flywheel there, like within the ecosystem.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, agree. And I'm also seeing other like projects working on like solving the over collateralization problems in DeFi. I think that can be very important as well. We're just waiting for the the right team to get behind it. Yeah. So also we're having next Monday we're having AMA on 14th, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We're having Q&A session in our community call with people from Online Ventures. So we'll have invited investment manager and program manager for Online Ventures. They will walk us through on what the DeFi Basecamp program offers and how it works. and who's eligible. And both Eden and Sammy are going to be here as well. So join us. It will be a good opportunity to ask us anything. That's it for me.
Yeah, thank you, Amber. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff coming through with the incubator, right? A ton of applications, a ton of promising projects. We're just looking for that final cohort.
I'll talk about some of the other ones, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
So, like some of the other applications that were coming in, like I guess like they're not all like infrastructure or like B2B facing projects. I think like it was interesting. There was like a huge influx of projects coming in that were focused a lot on like under collateralized lending, which seems to be like a trend in the space. I don't know, like personally, like how bullish I am on like under collateralized lending, because if it's truly permissionless, then that obviously that opens up like a lot of doors for like attacks and stuff, right? So I mean, like like the applications coming in are like not only infrastructure facing, but like also I think like tapping into like a lot of the trends that are going on in the market right now, which I think it's good to like get into, right? Like now we have the yield optimizer, then the stablecoin H2O, then redacted, the sort of like governance play. So there's like I think like there's still like the pillars of DeFi that we're yet to hit, which we know are just like general hits, right? Lending platforms, DEXs, bridges, all that sort of stuff, right? So I'd hope like like the rest of the applications that come in are like more tapping into like this stuff as well, because I think like with like I think it's like 8 or 10 projects, right, Amber, that we're going to be launching through this. I think like they should all be they should like not only be infrastructure stuff.
Yeah, thank you. There's a bunch, like it's not only public and front facing dApps that we're looking into. It's essentially the whole realm that uplifts and upholds the whole DeFi ecosystem, including infrastructure. And on the topic of infrastructure, right? We have just recently, last week, migrated from the V1 to the V2 token, and there's been a bunch of actions that needed to be taken by the community. We wrote up the Mirror articles, but if Merrick, you could drive us through and give us a couple of updates, how that went, and anything on your side.
Yeah, for sure. A lot's happened in like the last week. The tech team, including myself, we've been run pretty ragged, between the V2 token upgrade, which we went live. I think it was right around a week ago, just after a week. I don't know. It's been like time's just like compressed and dilated, and I'm just kind of like glad it's Friday. I mean, it's been another week. Hopefully we get a few minutes of rest on the weekend before going back to building. So yeah, we deployed the token migration. It's been, I would say it's been relatively smooth. I think thanks to a lot of the work by Greenbergs and Arjan. It's been relatively smooth, and they've been working through people's tickets. A lot of times there's issues that come up. I mean, no matter what. But for the most part, it's been pretty smooth. Infura was down for a little bit too, which didn't really help us, because MetaMask depends on Infura, so there was like an outage for a day back there. What else happened? So we spent the week sort of tightening up, things like our circulating supply calculation, and like we have to provide, just so people know like what happens in the background in order to get Coin Market Cap and CoinGecko to sort of update their listings. Like we have to provide like a ton of information, update the circulating supply APIs. We discovered like a bug in there actually that because of the way we were sort of migrating from V1 to V2, we were using a burn address, and the API wasn't handling that burn address very well. So for like a couple days there, it was displaying that we had like, a circulating supply of like 600 million, before we could track down why that was. So eventually we clamped it down. got that fixed. CoinGecko's been updated as a result that we're very, very happy about. They sent us a nice email, I think yesterday morning, that it's been updated. So we're very happy about that because it's like an extraordinarily popular site, right? CoinMarketCap is taking a bit longer, but I expect them to be updated in the next day or two. I've been staring at spreadsheets actually for the last couple of days. Starting to get like what's it called, eye fatigue, vision fatigue from that. Been looking carefully, at our circulating supply throughout the migration and all this stuff, and just making sure, sort of doing a little bit of like auditing in the sense of auditing that our supply numbers still make sense, and it looks like everything's pretty good there. So that's part of exchange listing process. Like it's still, I would say, like probably kind of early. Like it's don't want to excite people and then have people disappointed if exchange listings take a bit longer. But we are working on that. I'm getting some centralized exchange listings. So that's kind of what I've been really busy with. So yeah, as Che mentioned, for people that still haven't migrated, there's a few reasons to maybe not have migrated yet. One of those reasons is that we are building a solution, and it's actually pretty close. We're getting very close to sort of, I would say some final testnet testing and making sure everything's kind of ready to go and everything's in place to let people, to let token holders that still haven't migrated over to V2 to allow them to, in one step, migrate to V2 and also migrate their tokens to like a more transaction fee friendly chain like Avalanche and later, a little bit later, Arbitrum, sort of in one step and in one go. And we've been working really hard to make sure that experience is kind of as smooth as the one that people have been using to go from V1 to V2 on Ethereum mainnet. So it's not live yet. The migration tool to take you straight to Avalanche is not live yet. We're expecting that this week. Like we were hoping and working hard to get it out the door this week. But it's sort of, I would say, maintain that high level of quality. It's going to take a couple more days. One of the things that's been sort of maybe holding that back a little bit is we have to have a conversation with Avalanche Bridge. We've got one set up for Monday to find out if we can use it's actually sort of like a permission bridge in some senses, that they sort of have to they choose who gets to use their bridge, and it'd be kind of quite, I would say, maybe honor is too strong of a word, but I think it'd be definitely a win and a coup for New Order, like as a relatively young project, to get listed on Avalanche Bridge. I think that our alternative is going to be, and it's and it's a good alternative, I think, as well, would be to use something like Synapse Bridge. So so we're going to be working that out in the next couple of days, and that should allow us to go live. In the meantime, we're continuing to work on getting Arbitrum integration done as well. So yeah, I wish I had some like concrete dates for you guys, and I would say as soon as everything's like in place and we're clear, there's not going to be any more delays, we're going to kind of let everybody know when those migration tools will be available. What else I want to say? Yeah, we've got an article actually coming out. We've got an article coming out about Avalanche and sort of like our journey to Avalanche, and sort of like talking a little bit about the Avalanche ecosystem in terms of data and data points, and this sort of analysis, like analyzing different metrics, on-chain metrics, bridge metrics. This article has actually been put together by a group of contributors in our computer-aided governance channel under the technical sub-DAO, and it's actually quite an impressive analysis. Like they generated like brand new data. It's not just like a copy pasta from other sources, so it's like original research. It's pretty cool. So we're aiming to get that published by Monday. And then there's going to be sort of like a follow-up or a similar article about Arbitrum that they're going to be producing as well. So like it's pretty cool stuff. I'm eager to get that out in everyone's hands. What else is going on from the technical side? So this is like, technical and also governance is, our contributor reward payouts for all the early contributors that have been working since even before New Order launched, right? So even like from like October, November, people have been doing lots of important, contributors have been doing lots of important work for New Order. And, there was sort of like a series of delays. And then the latest delay was, we didn't want to send contributors V1 tokens to make them spend gas to convert them to V2 tokens. So the latest delay that's now behind us, right? The first round of contributor rewards have gone out. And if, for work that's kind of ongoing, or if we sort of missed anyone for one way or other, for one reason or other, there's going to be obviously other rounds of awards for contributors. And one of the things I wanted to add is that process itself is evolving. We were kind of using Notion and kind of like a very ad hoc, I would say, sort of system to sort of assign, the reward values and get people paid out. But now we're actually working with a team. I would say kind of like a soft partnership with a project called D-Work that we actually met out in Lisbon. They're a great team, and they're building sort of like support infrastructure. Kind of project management support infrastructure for DAOs, and a project that we're very excited about, and we're like very early adopters of that. And so we've been sort of like helping them, make business connections and stuff. And we're also like early users ourselves, right? So we're sort of going to be testing that out more and more. Aiden, who couldn't be on the call today, he's right there. He's actually right there. He managed to join out. Aiden, did you want to? We were just getting to the part about talking about D-Work. Did you want to say a few words?
Yeah, it's been really fun to use. Anyone that's wanted to help contribute towards New Order, check it out in the link tree that we have posted in the channel. We were thinking of actually getting Launis, the founder, in here today to give a little demo, but I feel like we'll wait next time, I think. But they're doing a lot of new announcements on their Twitter now too, at DWorkXYZ. And yeah, it's been awesome too. I've helped onboard a few other projects onto it. And it's great for finishing bounties and distributing tasks to the community. So something that we're excited about. And I've been recommending new features to Launis for it too. And yeah, that's all I have to add for it right now. But
this week, like you're working with, or this coming week, you're gonna be working with like more of the sub DAOs to get them to like implement D-Work.
Yeah,
to install everything, right? So like it's a rollout procedure, right? Like not everything happens overnight.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Getting the sub DAO set up on there, it's what we're seeing that as is like it's going to be a great funnel for getting contributors allocated towards tasks. Sorry about this, and respectively. And I think that's going to be a great way to mobilize new workers within the DAO as well. And I think these kind of new emerging tools are really going to add more value to networks as well. But yeah, it's a work in progress. Is getting more contribution rewards and bounties listed there. And we love more community suggestions too. Like if you go to see on the dashboard in D-Work, you guys can kind of suggest tasks and bounties that you may want to complete yourself, and we can post something up there and kind of decide a potential reward for that as well. So we want to make it so the community has a lot of input and feedback into, even if you just think of something that you think you could provide to the DAO that would add value, feel free to message me or post it on the kind of community bulletin there. And we can look over that and see if it's something we think we could allocate rewards towards.
Yeah, and one more thing to mention on the topic of contributor rewards and those activities. There's going to be a lot more, I think, opportunities coming up, especially I would say like a significant portion of our community that I've met of the New Order community that I've had I would say that the pleasure of meeting has some web development or design or sort of like a lot of web experience, like web 2 and web 3 experience. And I think that this, there's going to be a lot more opportunities to contribute to our DApp, like our front end, like new features, bug fixes, et cetera, et cetera. Again, in the background, Arjan, who I won't put on the spot, maybe you can come on another call when, to walk people through when it's finished. But Arjan's been working with Greenberg's to prepare, like, sort of essentially like refactor, rewrite, reboot the DApp front end to make it more friendly for multiple contributors to work on at the same time. So, like, I know they've been working really hard to get it out. I think it's, again, I don't want to put them on the spot or kind of under the gun to finish it. But as I understand it, it's probably going to be like another week or 10 days or so before all that stuff's opened up to the community. So anyway, Godspeed, guys. Like, I know you're working super hard on it. So that's all I'll say about that. So good things are coming. Good things are coming down the pipeline. So that's kind of more or less it, from I would say from the technical side right now. I'll turn it back over to you, Che.
Yeah. Thank you, Marek. I think we can pivot a little bit towards the incubated projects and kind of the updates there. And Sammy, if you could start us off with what's happening at Redacted.
Yeah, give me a sec here. Maybe someone else start.
Yeah, I mean, I can just start off with H2O first. Marek, back to you with the with the technical and launch updates.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So, the development team on H2O is actually they're actually like a pseudonymous team. It's a good team, but for kind of their own reasons, kind of want to remain sort of like anon, which I mean I think is the way things are generally going anyway in the industry, right? The way things are going. But they're a really good team. I've been talking to them. They're really hard workers, and they're just sort of I would say been doing a number of testnet deployments of the H2O system. Making sure that it's sort of like well understood and that the parameters are appropriate for for launch. And they're actually in the process right now of rolling out H2O on Ethereum mainnet. They're taking their time to make sure that no mistakes are made and we don't burn six like 5 or 6 figures worth of ether on accidentally on smart contract deployment blunders sort of thing, right, where you have to like restart the whole thing after. So they're carefully putting that together. We're expecting to do like a soft launch of the like the smart contracts and the whole engine there, certainly before the end of the month, in the next couple of weeks. So that's on track. I would say the reason for the timing, I'll sort of turn over to you, Che, to talk about all the other developments, all the other non-technical developments around H2O.
Yeah. Thank you, Marek. I mean, the timing of the launch, right? Like, it's all figurated around the timing of the launch of Ocean V4, right? Like the whole premise of H2O is to have a stable asset for the Ocean ecosystem, to kind of foster the data market with a stable asset of account, right? And we are kind of this most important part of the whole new rollout of Ocean. That's why we want to make sure that we time our launch correctly with theirs and make sure that there's a couple of weeks for us to be able to launch, and have all the functionalities, and then for them to roll out their V4, right? Just to make sure that we're kind of synergetically operating together. So it really kind of depends on Ocean, but it seems like they're coming through in early March, which means that we can hopefully roll out end of February, maybe first week of March. That's kind of the most up-to-date launch updates. In terms of the new airdrop, right? Like the H2O airdrop to new holders, we are, considering our premise, right? Like the whole idea is to make sure that stakers are rewarded and we want to make sure that long-term stakers and liquidity providers are rewarded in this airdrop, right? Though obviously we can't announce the date of the snapshot, considering how easy it would be to gamify the whole approach. But you can expect it to happen after we are deployed on the AVAX, right, on the cheaper layer one. So we make sure that all of the people that were waiting to bridge, they have the opportunity to bridge, right, and they're already present on AVAX, right, on a V2 vault, right, like to make sure that we fully kind of transition, and only then we'll be able to take the snapshot, just to make sure we're fair, and we don't miss any many stakers in the vaults, right? On that note, right, like that's kind of the whole premise there. We already launched the Discord for H2O and the Twitter page. Feel free to check it out. I think I dropped a link in the H2O channel here on the left, right, under the Incubated Projects. We can drop it again in the community call chat.
Did we plug that in announcements? If we didn't, we probably should plug that in announcements.
I think we have also. It's also in the announcements. It's in the H2O tab. It's on Twitter actually. I think it's all over the place. But if you're having trouble, right, like just scroll through the H2O chat. Like you'll find it there very quickly. So we got that going. The community is kind of ramping in. A couple of folks from Motion also stopped by to say hi. So everything is going well on that front. And for now, at least, it seems like it's a smooth sail. Obviously, launches are kind of crazy, but this launch seems to be under control, and everything is working well. So we're very excited to have the launch and coincide with the V4, sorry, of Ocean. And I mean, on that note, Sammy, are you ready to have a chat about Redacted and tell us a couple of updates on that front?
Yeah, so Redacted's going good. Recently, I don't know if we've been on a community call since, but recently we shared like the plans for V2 and what we're planning to do there. I think we have like some new exciting mechanics coming out and expanding sort of like its product suite to capture more of the market. So, one of the first things we're doing is introducing like a locking mechanic for the butterfly token. This sort of like aligns like more of the stakeholders and adds a sense of like conviction to the governance. And then, like the other thing we're releasing this month is Hidden Hand, which is basically a general purpose bribe marketplace for people for like other projects with vote escrow tokens to, allow their stakeholders to get bribe rewards for their activities, or just for like their vote, basically. So that one's super exciting as well. Other than that, we're working on like a few other products that are sort of still in the R&D phase, but I think like should be going out to audit soon. So hopefully we're pushing some new things, some new extensions of the DApp like in the coming months. I think like, it's a pretty aggressive roadmap, but with like the team that's been built out over there, I think it's achievable. And yeah, what's that copy pasta they say? The AMA one, does anyone know what that is? Strong team in a strong and predictable roadmap, something like that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, the roadmap is pretty aggressive. I think like, there's been some, at least in the vertical that the project is building in, there's been some turmoil. And I think like, in this industry, like, you have to adapt or you die, right? So, we're happy to like keep evolving the project as like the market sees fit, I'd say. A similar mindset to sort of like the way New Order builds, like New Order is one of those projects that doesn't, it doesn't like conform to DeFi 1.0 or DeFi 2.0 or whatever. Like, New Order launches and incubates stuff that's at like the cutting edge, you could say, right? So I think like all the incubated dApps, like if we want them to succeed in the long term, then we sort of have to all like work on this mindset, right? Yeah, is that a good update, Shay?
Yeah, I think that's great. There's a bunch of things that have happened, right? And as you said, right, if you don't adapt, you die. And I think that's kind of like an overarching, credo of DeFi, right? Like you're always on the move. There's always things changing, and if you just conform, right, and you're complacent, you're not going to go really far in this industry. And I mean, on that update, like also, I mean, we could talk about Optify a little bit, but they're kind of steady grinding per se, finishing up their mechanics, right, their vaults. I think the beta vaults are still in testing, or I think they might have finished it at this point in time. But they are looking towards end of March, I think, launch. They're trying to postpone it. I think they're also trying to time the market. I don't know. I hope it's successful on their front, but they're trying to make sure that the market is favorable and that their mechanics are all built. It's all a fundamentally sound launch, considering they've been grinding at this DApp at this really unique vault and this aggregated, this yield aggregator for so long. They want to make sure that each step of the road is kind of planned and actually materializes the way they want it to. That would kind of finish up the incubated projects. We talked about accelerated projects. That's going well. Incubated projects, thankfully, we're pivoting, moving alongside the DeFi market. Internally, also in terms of governance, there's been the constitution that passed, right? Like a bunch of things happening on that front. Aiden updated us as well. And I think we kind of talked about everything. And if you guys have any following questions, make sure to drop them in the community called text channel. I don't know if maybe we missed some of the questions. I unfortunately haven't really checked on it. Michaela, I know I see you were talking here, and Sammy as well. Yeah. A good project with a strong team and predictable and transparent roadmap. You already know, right? Yeah. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. If not, then we can, continue on in general chat. You'll find Oldman Che always asking and answering all the questions. I see. It does seem like we're good to go. So thank you guys for showing up. We had a bunch of updates. Anything you have in mind, make sure that to ping us in general. Always available. And yeah, thank you guys for coming along.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.